how to stop caring what other people think of you, and how to master the art of being yourself. Crazy to think, in this day and age, it is an art form, okay? It is an art form to just learn how to be yourself, to let your hair down and be who you are without filtering yourself or trying to be a version that is socially acceptable, that will get approval from society, from the tribe, from the mob, the blue pill mob, right? You actually have to, in this day and age, you have to master the art of being yourself. And I've been teaching self-development for almost 3 decades now, since the 90s, guys. I mean, back when I started doing this pickup stuff, a lot of it evolved into self-development, like how to be more confident, how to raise your self-esteem, just how to be like more socially aware, and how to just stop caring what everybody else thinks of you. You know, people out there judging you, how to just let go of all that. I mean, it's insane how things haven't changed much, and I get guys coming to me with the same problem, like, how do I stop caring what people think of me? How do I stop caring that people are judging me when I walk by, and I can kind of hear them laughing at times, and that pisses me off, and what should I do? It has literally become an art form in this day and age to just be yourself without apology, without filtering yourself, but at the same time, socially calibrating. There are going to be times where you might be at a dinner, might be a work function, right? And you might have some thoughts in the back of your head that you might want to like just speak out to the crowd, and you know that if you do, it might cost you your job. So obviously you're going to need to have some social calibration there, right? You're going to have to know, like, hey, maybe with this group, I'm just going to sit here. I'm still going to be myself, but I'm just going to let them talk politics and talk about all the nonsense going on in society right now. I'm not really going to get involved in that. It is an art form these days to first have the mental maturity to learn who you are, what your actual likes are, what your actual dislikes are, how you really feel. And in order to even find out who you are, you have to let go of all of this social engineering and all of this brainwashing you've had your entire life. I don't want to get political, but like a lot of people, for example, that I went to school with at Berkeley, right? These guys were like, a lot of these people were like straight hardcore, or claimed to be that they were hardcore leftists. And then as we got older, they were like, you know what? I realized even back then I didn't really agree with all that. I was just going with it because, you know, so many of our peers were like, yeah, this is what you should do, man. This is how you should be. And they just kind of went along with that, right? That the social engineering aspect, you know, it's just kind of like us being red pill now, right? Back in the old blue pill days, we were socially engineered to pedestalize women, empower women, push our own needs aside to make room for the woman, mister, you know, and all this other stuff. And it's not until we break free from all the conditioning, but just us getting to know ourselves better, we start to realize what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And this is why I always tell you guys, no matter what age you are, say you're feeling lost or you're feeling confused about your ideas, you should always trust your gut feeling, okay? Not your emotions, because it's easy to mix the two up. Like, you know, what about my emotions? What, that feels right. It's like, no, not your emotions, your gut feeling. Okay, because your emotions are always going to steer you wrong. Like I always tell people, never make decisions and never buy things on emotion, right? Always trust your gut. It's no different with what we're talking about here. If you're feeling lost or confused, you're not sure what to think, trust what's in your gut. Okay, you have to trust what's in your gut. In order to feel what's actually in your gut, you have to let go of your emotions. There's always going to be some crazy news story that the mainstream media is going to push, like some chaos in the world, some virus, right? Some police beating, you know, some crazy shit. There's always going to be crazy shit. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying there's always going to be some crazy shit that the mainstream media is going to push because it brings eyeballs to them, and it gets them more clicks, it gets them more ad revenue, it helps promote their propaganda, their agenda. That's why you can never buy into that stuff. This is why I never watch the news, right? I mean, if you're watching news, I mean, unless you're watching it for, comedic purposes, there's no reason to watch the news, because the news is designed to put you in your head even more, to pull you away from yourself even more. And anybody or anything that is constantly trying to pull you away from who you are, you need to cut off, because that is the biggest problem in your life right now. All these outside entities or outside people who are trying to pull you away from who you are and how you want to live. I mentioned, like, when I first started doing game in like the early 90s, I used to hang out with my high school friends, my college friends. Like, there was a group of us guys that would go to all these clubs in the city, right? And it got to a point where I had to let go of these guys, because I felt like, because they weren't doing game and they were kind of like throwing a monkey wrench into my game, they would always like kind of make comments from the peanut gallery or like yell shit out, like constantly amogging while I was trying to get good at pickup, get good at approaching girls. They would be like, oh, blah, 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 and they weren't helping, they weren't being supportive, and they didn't want to learn it themselves, right? So it was like, okay, I don't feel like I could be myself when I'm around these guys, and I grew up with these guys. I had to cut them off. And you know what? Sad to say, it was the best decision I ever made. It was the best decision I ever made, because once I cut those guys off, like, yes, even though I had to start going out by myself, because all of a sudden I had no friends, I cut them off. I was like, they still went clubbing, I just didn't go with them. I went to clubs on my own. I went to clubs that they weren't going to, right? I went to clubs and I started like training on my own, because I didn't know anybody else who was doing this. Back then there was no internet. I mean, you have so much luxury these days. You have internet forums, and you could follow guys on my channel and meet guys through me that are also doing game and pickup and connect with each other, whereas I didn't have that back then. It's like I had no choice but to go out by myself. And even though it was weird going out alone, it was the best decision I ever made, because all of a sudden it was like I was free to be who I am, to do what I want, to say what I want. I didn't have to worry about amogs in the background. I mean, my own guy friends that I grew up with, amogging, yelling shit from the peanut gallery, or just trying to throw a monkey wrench in my game. I didn't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, I didn't mind dealing with like amogs at the bar that I didn't know. That never bothered me. But it's like, dude, when it's coming from your own boys, it's like, hey, you guys got to go. I have not regretted that since. I mean, that was the best decision I ever made. Not only did I get good at game, but I got good at just understanding who I am, right? As a young 20-something, right? I was in my early 20s back then, and that's when you're really trying to get to know who you are. You're maturing, you're becoming an adult. And if you have the wrong influences around you, even if you grew up with these guys, you have to let them go. You have to make that executive decision. And I talked about this in my program, 44 Secrets to Becoming a Real Alpha Male. Many times in life, you're going to have to make these very tough executive decisions to let people go, even people you grew up with, because they are holding you back. How does the expression go? If you want to conquer the world, you must conquer yourself first. Okay? If you want to conquer the world, you must conquer yourself first. You can't conquer yourself if you have all these negative influences around you trying to pull you down, trying to do that crabs in the bucket crap, because they don't want you to leave them behind, right? You can't have that. In order to get to know who you are, in order to get to know like what is at the core of your very being, you have to let go of people who are keeping you from doing that. People who are distracting you from doing that. They might be close friends. They might be family members. Right? Might be people you grew up with, people you've known all your life. You're going to have to let them go. There's no other way to do it. If you really want to get to the core of who you are and stop governing yourself because you want to make sure that you don't offend anyone. You want to make sure that you people please. If there are people you don't agree with, you have to let those people go. There are a lot of people that had beliefs that I didn't agree with. And I was in college at the time, and I mean, like all my guidance counselors and teachers would always say like, oh, this is a time where you have to keep an open mind. You have to let everyone in your life and just kind of explore everyone's ideas. And it's like, okay, I did that, and I realized like, this is the way I am. This is how I like being, and I don't want to change this. And you know what? Anybody coming in trying to change who I am and what I like, I don't have time for them. Right? And I just got good at cutting people off. It's like, hey, if we're not going in the same direction in life, there's no point in us teaming up together. There's no point in that at all. And I'd rather team up with somebody who's going in the same direction in my life. And I've always equated it to being in a boat, right? Imagine your life being like this. You're in a boat. You could fit like, half a dozen people in your boat, 5 or 6 people. In order to get from point A to point B, you all have to be paddling in the same direction. Okay, you all have to be paddling in the same direction. If you have one person in that boat of yours paddling in the opposite direction, you can't go from point A to point B. You're going to zigzag, you're going to swerve around, your ship might even sink, right? Your boat might even sink, might collapse, might turn upside down. No, you have to have everybody paddling in the same direction. It's better not even to have that person there who's going to paddle in the wrong direction. It's better to just throw them overboard and have like 4 people paddling in the right direction. It might take longer to get there, but hey, you'll be going in the right direction. Okay? And I take my own advice with that. How do you think I became self-made millionaire? Anybody who was paddling in the wrong direction, hey, I'd throw them off my boat, man. You probably need to be on someone else's boat, right? Somebody else who wants to paddle sideways, get on their boat. Get off of my boat. Right? I make no apologies about that. I don't tolerate that. Right? I don't tolerate piss poor bad behavior from the women I date, much less the friends in my life. It's like, dude, if you just want to sit around and play video games all day, you don't want to get moving in life, you don't want to go out there and conquer the world, you don't want to crush it, you don't want to become the best version of yourself, there's no reason for us to be friends, right? There isn't. It's like guys who come onto my channel and like all they want to do is throw shade at me, or they want to hate for whatever reason. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like your DeLorean. It's like, okay, what are you doing here? You need to go, right? It's like every comment you leave is negative. It's toxic. You're cursing at my other subscribers. You got to go, right? Then these guys wonder why hey, did you guys block me? It's like, I didn't block you. My VA probably blocked you because they're instructed to do that. We give everybody like a 3-strike rule. This guy had like 7 or 8 strikes. He was like constantly just dropping, like every comment was always negative. I don't like this. I don't like that. And then I got the DeLorean. I don't like that DeLorean. I saw him like commenting on like other guys who were leaving like positive comments, and he was like cursing up a storm, this and that. And it's like, dude, you don't contribute any value here whatsoever. Time for you to go, right? I'll find another subscriber, and if I don't, it's okay. I don't need you, right? I don't need you. So even when it comes to something like that, I mean, it's like, hey, we're all going in this direction. The people who follow my work, follow my channel, follow my Instagram at Matt Cross Official, these are all cool guys. These are all super cool guys. A lot of these guys are on their path and purpose, and even the ones that aren't are trying to find their path and purpose. They want to move forward in their lives. They want to become the best version of themselves. And anybody who like comes in and, wants to like throw shade, dude, it's like, you don't belong here. What are you doing here? Like, oh, you guys are stupid, blah, blah, blah. And, this guy, and like just acting like a little girl, then get off the channel. You don't like it. Why do you watch videos you don't like? The point that I'm trying to make here is you have people like this in your life, right? You might not be on YouTube or anything like that, but you have people like this in your life that are holding you back. Those are the people that you're going to have to cut off if you want to get to where you want to be, right? Because in order to get to where you want to be in life, if you want to become truly successful, again, like I said, before you can conquer the world, you must what? You must conquer yourself, okay? That means in order to conquer yourself, you have to understand who you are, right? You have to understand what makes you you. You have to know what your unique talents are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. So you could fix the things that need to be fixed and let go of the things that need to be let go of, right? So that you can master becoming the best version of yourself that doesn't kowtow to people, that doesn't like jump sides constantly, right? Depending on like where the bigger mob is. There's a saying that goes, never trust a man who's afraid to make enemies, right? I mean, I'm not afraid to make enemies. I mean, I will say it like it is. I stand firm on my beliefs and my values. Why? Because that's who I am, and I don't expect everybody to be like me. I come across a lot of people who have completely opposite beliefs, completely opposite values, and I'm like, okay, that's yours. That's your beliefs. Those are your values. I don't try to infringe on them. I don't try to change their minds. I mean, if they want to come to me and learn from me and they want to change it, different story. But if they're set in who they are, I don't try to change them, right? You can't change somebody who doesn't want to be changed. So I don't try to change anybody. I believe in live and let live. But I have a huge problem with people trying to come into my life and try to change me. Even if I don't know these people and they try to like come onto my channel and try to say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. And it's like, one or two comments like that is fine as long as it's constructive. It's not coming from a bad place. But if it's constant like, it's constant like toxic, negative, ad hominem, shit like that, we just delete these guys. We block them off the channel because we don't need it. It's not even about me or the channel anymore. It's like, I don't want you to poison the guys who are following us, okay? Because these guys are at a point in their lives where they're trying to learn, they're trying to get better, right? And I want these guys to at least cross over before they have to come across like hardcore AMOGs like that. That will take them off of their ultimate path and purpose in life, right? But at the end of the day, you need to master the art of being yourself, okay? Why do you need to master the art of being yourself? It's because you will be tested in life. You will be tested in life mostly socially and psychologically, right? There's like mental warfare going on out there. I mean, back in the old days, we used to attack each other with weapons, spears, swords. That's how we used to go after each other. Whereas these days, in today's, somewhat civilized world, the way we attack each other is socially and psychologically, right? I mean, even as far as like we were talking about YouTube, when people try to attack me, what are they trying to do? They're trying to get inside my head, right? And that's what people are trying to do to you too. They're trying to get inside of your head. They're trying to get you to qualify yourself to them, to validate yourself to them. My job here with giving you these coaching lessons and all this content is to get you out of your head. So you're not fazed by that. You're not shaken by that when somebody tries to take you out of your comfort zone or try to put you inside your head, to try to control you psychologically, right? But the more you know yourself, the less anybody out there will be able to control you. Nobody will be able to touch you. This is why I laugh whenever somebody tries to AMOG me, right? Especially online. It's like, dude, you see my persona online. You see that I'm unshaken by this stuff. You see how long I've been teaching self-development, psychology. It's like, you don't think I know what you're trying to do? It's like, are you that dumb? It's laughable. It's almost sad to me. It's like, wow, how can you not see like how pathetic that looks? The more you know yourself, the less people can pull you outside of your head. And this is why I want you guys to get to know yourself as much as possible. Okay, not the socially engineered version of yourself, but you, who you are, deep down inside, in your heart, in your gut. I want you to really find out who you are, what you're made of, right? You should be going out there and challenging yourself constantly, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to see how you react or how you don't react. For me, the way I found out who I was through game, through pickup. I mean, it's funny because a lot of people bag on this art form these days. I can understand why, but it does not discount the fact that I've always said this has been the best form of self-development that I've ever partaken in my life. Just cold approaching in venues over and over, constantly putting myself in these weird social situations, high intense social situations, potentially life-threatening social situations where, like the chick's boyfriend might like run around the corner. I've had that happen a number of times. Like I accidentally approached a girl who has a boyfriend there. I didn't see him. He's like flies around the corner. What's up, dude? What's up? Like right in my face, Nothing will test you faster than that, right? Like to be able to remain non-reactive. 3 decades of doing shit like that, constantly going into these venues and putting myself in these crazy social situations that I found out who I was. I found out what I was made of. I found out what I like, what I don't like, not only in like dating partners, but male friends, goals, aspirations, ambitions. I really did find out who I was. I mean, I really owe a lot to Pickup and Game. I discovered like my strengths. I discovered my weaknesses that I had. I discovered what was worthy of fixing, what was not worthy of fixing, that I was like, forget it, I'll never be good at this. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna focus on my strengths. So a lot of this was learned from just constantly interacting with humanity. You're not gonna learn shit like locking yourself in your apartment or your 1 bedroom or your studio or in your parents' basement, never going out. In order to find out who you are, what you're made of, and really challenge yourself, you need to go out. Right? You need to go out. And this is why even me in my 40s, I still go out. I'm still constantly out there, still constantly traveling. I'm still constantly walking up to new people I don't know and just starting conversations with them, getting to know who they are. I'm always fascinated by hearing people's stories, like what got them to where they are today. You know, that's why my game went to a new level too, is because I genuinely was interested. Like when I'd approach a female, for example, I was genuinely interested in wanting to know like how she got to where she is, no matter how young she was. Like, how did you get to where you are? You know, what kind of upbringing did you have? And it comes off super genuine because I genuinely want to know about the person. Even if nothing physical happens, I'm happy to sit there and get to know the person because I love humanity. I love engaging with humanity. I love socializing. And through that, I learned how to be non-reactive. I learned how to stay icy in tense situations. Guy might want to fight or something like that. Might want to get violent because I approached his girl, or I grabbed his girl, or I kissed his girl in front of him. I've done that. I've kissed a girl in front of the dude they were with, and I was able to diffuse those situations. I wasn't able to do that previously before I started really going out. Right, when I first started doing pickup in game, I didn't know how to handle those situations. I was like just ready to defend myself and get violent and fight. Right? Whereas these days I could diffuse verbally. I could verbally spar with pretty much anybody these days, you know, and this is another art form that I teach you guys is verbal sparring. And thing with verbal sparring is you can never let the other person get inside of your head, because once a person does, you know, they've won and you've lost. At the end of this, what this all boils down to is you knowing yourself. And my whole point in this entire coaching video is the more that you know yourself, know who you are, right? The more solid of an aura you will give off about yourself. You'll just be like, have this solid energy around you, almost like an energy field that is very solid, it's firm. It's not like most people where it's like flimsy. Like most people, they just, you know, they don't know who they are, right? And I don't blame them. Like with all the social engineering that's going on out there, I don't blame them. Like mainstream media constantly pushing another chaos in our faces, another virus in our faces. And it's like we have constant distraction. Again, anybody who's trying to pull you away from who you are, you need to cut off. You need to let go of. Even if it's like news, right? Mainstream news, you should cut that off a long time ago. But the more you know yourself, the stronger you will be, okay? The less people will be able to enter your head and put you in your head. And the easier it'll be for you to go out there and conquer the world, right? Like I mentioned, hey, I became a self-made millionaire. That did not happen until I conquered myself, right? Once I conquered myself and I realized and I understood who I am, what I'm here to do, everything became seamless. Everything became 1,000 times easier. Everything. I mean, even handling like conflict, handling challenges, obstacles in life, it became 1,000 times easier, as it will for you once you get to know who you are, right? But again, it takes mental maturity, it takes mental discipline, okay? It takes turning off all the noise, whether it be the news, you know, friends who are trying to keep you in the bucket like a crab, or anything else for that matter, music, whatever's keeping you from getting to know who you are, you need to cut those things off. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets. Do not forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube, okay? More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a ton when you're actually subscribed, so please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And for you guys who want to support my work and all this red pill, gold pill, and platinum pill content even further, the best way to do that is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which I am hosting on a private platform away from YouTube. And the reason I'm doing that is to protect all of my premium content in the event that YouTube tries to shut me down. They're shutting down a lot of channels lately, so I wouldn't be surprised one day they try to shut me down. But even if they do, all of my content, my premium content, will be protected. You will continue to have access to it if you are a premium subscriber of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel. And right now, the first month is only $1 for the entire first month of premium Alpha Male content from me, okay? So take advantage of it. It's only $1 for the entire first month. Best way to support my work, guys, and I really appreciate it. Really honored if you'd get in my program, right? So all you need to do To become a premium subscriber is click that link below in my description box, and it will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It only takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. All right, signing out from the top of my hotel room here. Got a great view. Yeah, I'm just traveling around right now, enjoying life, having fun, and just continuing on with the adventure we call life.